But with that being said,
And with that being said,
you're good. And with that being said,
I'm really thankful I got that chance to go play at K-State.
with that being said, I am
Now, with that being said,
hey guys, welcome to our 5 as 1 podcast. And with that being said, this is really a special episode that we've got going on, not only because we've got co-host Travis Jones in the house.
How's it going, guys?
representing the maize and blue well. We've got the life of the party, the man of the hour, always, whatever hour it may be, Gerald Foster in the house.
What's up, guys? Good to hear you guys, or good to be heard, I should say.
Wait a minute. You all right, Gerald? You good to go here?
I'm good to go. I'm fine. I'm a little off. I'm a little off at the start, and then you're going to already critique me. We got to get to who's important. Okay. I mean, me, sure. Yeah. Gerald, I might be a lot of fun. I might be able to say a couple jokes here and there, but that's not what's important. Get to what's important. Okay.
All right. Main event, the main star of the show. Hey, guys, this is awesome to have on. Really one of the best players I've ever coached. And not only is he a heck of a player, he's an incredible human being. He's a great family man and just stands for all the things, in my opinion, as a coach, that you always look for. A guy that's a grinder, who's a worker, who's tremendously talented, but really is an incredible locker room, great leader, and just the type of person that if you ever have your sons grow up, that they want to kind of emulate. So Auston, I'm putting the spotlight on Auston Corbett. I was honored to coach Auston when I was the offensive line coach at the University of Nevada. In Reno, Nevada, in the Mountain West. I was only able to coach him, unfortunately, for 12 games. We ended up going 5-7. We won a heck of a football game to finish it off. We'll talk about that one. But Corbs is now has had a long ride in the NFL, a long and winding road, and is now with the Carolina Panthers currently. So, Auston, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, thanks for having me on. This is awesome. Obviously, appreciate your kind words there. I don't believe any of it. I'm sure you've had plenty of better players than me. I was trying to do my job in the locker room, but happy to be here.
I was going to say that kind of hurt. I mean, you say all this stuff after we've had such a good relationship, right? You just give him all the praise, one of the best O linemen. I'm just sitting there like, okay, yeah, I guess he's okay. You know, he is playing in the league. He's doing everything right, all these good things. It's fine. I'll be second. Second tier is good enough, I guess, to be a co-host, okay? Right?
You okay? I mean, I just, I guess, Corbs, hold on. We got to put Gerald on the couch. We got to light the incense. We got to make sure he's going to be okay here.
I was going to go to the bathroom, cry for about 5 minutes, come back. I don't want to stop what we got going on today.
That's all right. Gerald's a little bummed out because he actually ended up, his alma mater ended up with your former coach. So I think we may talk about that. Maybe you can boost him up and talk about Coach Rule and your experience with him. Maybe you can get Gerald kind of on the up and up, back ready for college football with Coach Rule.
Absolutely. My time was short-lived with Coach, but you'll be all right.
We'll be okay.
You'll be just fine.
It is Nebraska, so I don't know how. I mean, I don't know how okay it'll be, but
they'll have some corn and they'll get over it over dinner. It'll be okay.
Golly, I love that. We got corn. You guys are just trying to pull me down. I'm not going to let you. Okay, this is a great night. Michigan's meh, always will be. I mean, you guys kind of did something with that Joe Moore. That was pretty cute. But if you look at programs, I mean, Nebraska, we're still they just put out like the top 10 programs in the nation. Michigan didn't break that. Nebraska did. I don't know. USC did. I don't know. It just seems like Michigan's kind of – the little brother's fine. Little brother can talk all he wants, okay, until he's able to find his way up here with the big dogs.
I got one thing for you, Gerald.
Let me hear it.
Winniness.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you guys are winning because God bless us.
Corbs. Let's talk about your college experience. I want to know what would you say? You talk about Nebraska corn, you talk about Michigan, maybe the maize and blue, the tradition there. In your opinion, for those that don't know much about Mountain West football, it's not in the Power Five, but Nevada in Reno, people might not even know. I was fortunate enough to coach in the Mountain West for a number of years. Give me your take on the University of Nevada in Reno and why you chose there.
Really didn't have much of a choice, honestly. Coming out of college, I was only 240 pounds. And so luckily, the current head coach of Nevada now, Ken Wilson, he was linebackers coach at the time. I grew up with his kids, and he offered me that walk-on spot. And that was the only way I was going to play Division I football. So kind of got there. Within 6 months, I was 300 pounds, and it wasn't healthy weight all the time. It was a lot of eating. There was a lot of eating. Mom's cooking was helping me out big time, but I think just kind of the Nevada program as a whole, it kind of takes those kids who really aren't given much of an opportunity, whether it's their one scholarship they get or it's that walk-on spot, and that's kind of who they are in their DNA and how they attack that program.
Are you from out there? You're from out in the Nevada area?
Yeah.
So I mean, you had to have known Gates pretty well then. My friend Nick Gates, just because Nevada ain't that big. It can't be that big. You guys are class between each other. Wasn't that about it?
Yeah. But he's from down in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Reno, so that's a common misconception in Nevada. The Reno to Vegas is about a 7.5 hour drive.
Okay.
And so it's there ain't much in Nevada. That is true, but it's a huge state and just nothing in between.
I got you. Okay. Well, I mean, all I'm doing is sit here just trying to have my connections. The closest thing I can bring to you being a part of Nebraska, I'm just going to sit here and keep acting like I'm part of the squad, whatever I can.
Again, from Nevada, being Reno, we don't like those cats down in Vegas. That's our big rival. That's a big. You're wearing red. I'm kind of offended. I know it's your school, but it's still just it irks me,
Corbs,
Hey,
talk to me.
Auston, I feel it. I don't like that red either. I don't like
Nobody likes the blue. I mean, unless Auston does. Do you like the blue now? I mean, am I just by myself in this corner?
Yeah, you are. But I mean, you got Jaime with USC holding on, but it's not ideal.
Hey, give me the lowdown. Like I was a part of a really special rivalry that not a whole lot of people know. The Fremont Cannon is I think it is the largest and the most expensive trophy that goes between college football rivals, and that's a Revolutionary War cannon that it goes between the winner of UNLV and the Nevada football champion.
So the Nevada and the guys down south, generally always kind of Nevada Day, which is Halloween. That's when they play that game. And it's a replica howitzer cannon that used to fire off every time touchdowns were scored. But those guys tried to pick it up one time after they won the game and dropped it and broke it. And so no longer is fireable. But it's like 540 something pounds. You wheel it around the field after you won. And my junior year, when I was there when Jaime was there, we were down south and we rushed for dang near 400 yards on those guys and just put a whooping on them to take that cannon home. And it might
be the best feeling in the world. And there's nothing better than being a part of the offensive line when you do something like that. When you're able to put it on the ground and like they literally know they're going to put 8 in the box, like, all right, we got to stop this. And you're still getting 4 or 5 easy. Right. That is like the best feeling in the world.
And that was that ended up being the last game of the year too. So to cap it off that way, just felt so good for those seniors on the team at that point. To end an up and down season, just rushing like that, man, that was nothing better.
So we're talking about memories. Going into your memories with the NFL, what would be your favorite story that you would be able to tell, just NFL wise?
I mean, pretty easy there. 2 years ago I was with the Rams, and you win a Super Bowl, man. There ain't nothing that's stopping that. I don't care how many yards you rush for in a game. That was just unspeakable how amazing that feeling is.
I mean, being able to be on the field with just the caliber of guys that you're around. The one that comes to my head is tackle left. Wasn't it left tackle Winford?
Yeah, Andrew Whitworth.
Yeah, Whitworth. Thank you. Being able to be on the field with that guy, being able to be in the locker room, having conversations with him, just what like taken away from it, that had to have been just special in its own right, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was the grandpa of the locker room. He turned 40 years old during that season, and just the stories that he'd tell of guys that his rookie year in Cincinnati when he was there. We're covering dang near 30 years, 35 years of NFL history with just some of the old guys that he was playing with as a rookie, and I mean, just an incredible person that really took me under when I got traded there, and I just try to listen to every single word that he said because there was just so much knowledge coming out of him. And now being here in Carolina, I'm just trying to pass along, everything that he taught me to these guys here. And fortunately, we had a very successful season and just re-signed our center back. So now we have a starting offensive line that is all together for the next 2 years. And that's really unheard of in the NFL.
Yeah, no.
So
that's sweet.
Yeah. So talking about that mentorship and whatnot that, Andrew Whitworth gave you, I mean, let's go back into the college days. I mean, coming out of high school, walk on, I mean, and really it sounds like you came in undersized really too, talk about a little bit of that. Cause we work with kids that are underdogs, for the most part, in the areas that we're working with and helping develop and whatnot. And so, talking about that journey, coming in as a walk-on, not really fitting the measurement tape, right off the bat. Obviously, you're excelling at it now, but talk a little bit about that. And what were some of the things? What were your struggles that you had to overcome, and what were some of the things that you had to hold on to as strength and steadfast?
Yeah, when I showed up to Nevada, the left tackle at that point was Joel Bitonio, the all-pro Browns left guard now, and just being undersized, seeing scouts at practice, and they're very clearly watching him. So I started watching him and just trying to monitor everything that he did and replicate that. And being undersized was, I mean, when I'm 240-pound left tackle, like you got to throw everything you can out there to stop a bull rush, against D1 guys. And I think it's just kind of the really kind of what I give the most credit to, like mentality wise, is my history of wrestling growing up. Because when you're out on a wrestling mat, you're one-on-one, and if you lose, you got no one else to blame, and that's your fault. And so that's kind of that mentality I try to take into every game and every single rep that I do. I mean, yeah, you can be under combo blocks, you can be doing whatever, but you got to rely on yourself, and especially as a walk-on, you got to have that mentality, and that's something I still try to carry now, even going into 6 years in the league, and just trying to make sure that I don't lose that mentality of no one actually cares about you, no one expects you to do anything, and it's up to you to go prove them all wrong.
I think having guys like that is incredible in the locker room. Bitonio, you probably got to spend a little bit of time with Joe Thomas when you were in Cleveland, just as he was exiting, right? He had just retired, if I'm not mistaken. He was just
retired. Yeah. That's when I was drafted.
And then Witt, and now the group that you've got in Carolina, like, obviously you dropped a couple of the names, but are there some other guys that you kind of were mentors that you leaned on that you got to learn the game from? And what were some of just the nuggets that you picked up from those guys, and now you're handed down to the next level?
When I got to, I played 50 games at left tackle at Nevada. And when I got drafted to Cleveland, I played, all 5 positions there. And like you said, Joe Thomas was there early on through those first OTAs. And then the center, J.C. Treader, the right guard, Kevin Zeitler, just guys that were in their 7th, 8th years at the time, my rookie year. And then even in L.A., the right tackle, Rob Havenstein, when I started playing right guard next to him, just these guys who played so much ball and just giving me different things as I've played all 5 positions there in the league now at some point or the other, and just different hand placement things and footwork things, because in college you can get away with doing the same thing over and over, but these NFL D linemen, they truly have, 4, 5, 6 moves, and you have to be able to counter them in various ways.
Who's the best defensive player in college that you went against? Was it the A&M game or what?
Yeah, Myles Garrett at the A&M game. That was a rude awakening, but that made the rest of the season easy, I'll tell you.
Well, and that's the
compared.
deal. Like sometimes you have to go through games like that and you learn and you grow, and it's not always going to be perfect. And it's learning from those difficult situations. And in your opinion, who's the best in the NFL? Maybe interior that you've gone against, because I know you played left tackle at Nevada. Now you transition, you're having to play so many spots, but maybe interior guy in the NFL.
Yeah, I think interior, it's a no-brainer there too. And Aaron Donald.
Yep. I was going to say.
Fortunately, I was on his side of the ball, and his team for enough. Had my first experience last year against him, and I mean it's truly incredible. Just the generational talent that he is, and the things he's able to do. It's not fair.
How was it practicing? So you had a leg up, like you practiced against him every day, and then now you play in a game. Like, how did that help? Or it's like, oh, he knew already a lot about you. Was it give us some lowdown on going against?
I think in practice you kind of get you lulled into all right, he beat me. That doesn't okay, but in the game there's severe consequences if he truly beats you. And so it's you're able to help yourself out in a game with moving the pocket, different, sliding to him and everything. But in a practice, when you're trying to run your offense, like you're not worried about blocking him. You're worried about getting your reps for the week, and so you're not always going to have the slide during practice, and you just got to go out there and battle. And I think that's the best part about this game is you got to go compete against truly the best in the game and see how you match up.
Oh, that's awesome, man, to be able to go against that. And then just, how much you learn every single week in practice. I mean, let's talk about it. You mentioned you've had a lot of different coaches in your history. High school, you had Coach Ernie Howren, who is a close friend of mine at Reed High. Then you go to Nevada, you got 3 different coaches. You overcame all of them, especially one. I know that you've got to overcome some coaches. And then you've had 4 different O-line coaches in 6 years in the NFL. Like, how have you dealt with all those different voices, all those different techniques? Like, what's your story with that?
Yeah, I think the only consistent thing in my football career is that it's inconsistent, right? It was, I had 3 offensive line coaches in college, and that's essentially, 3 and 4 years, with one being a redshirt year, and then go to college or NFL, have won my rookie year, get a new one in James Campen, who's actually my coach now. But then get traded in the middle of the season. So get a new coach in Aaron Cromer. And then a couple years after that, they brought in James Carberry from Stanford, where he was coming from at that point. And, I was just very fortunate to be able to sign at a place that had a coach that I've had and enjoyed. And even with our head coaching change now, we kept our O-line coach. So when I thought there was more change coming, I finally got a chance to be stable. And I think now at this point in my career, being a vet of the room, I'm able to kind of understand and learn from all these different pieces that I've had over these 7 offensive line coaches in, competitive football, to where I can apply things that I know work for my body and my techniques and go from there. Because I think that's the biggest part about offensive line is that it's not cookie cutter. Guys don't move the same. They can't do the same things. And so being able to move and change, and especially with just different defensive line techniques, you have to be able to adapt and hit these different techniques.
Yeah, no, that's what I think I tell my all the young bucks I'm helping out. Being offensive lineman, with all the different coaching schemes, all the different coaches that you can get, it's all about understanding that they're not giving you this is the only way you're able to do it. They're giving you tools for the toolbox, right? You might be taught 6 different things, from one guy, then 6 different things from another guy. At the end of the day, it's all about being able to look into that toolbox, pull out what you think works best for you, and then you go forward with that. I think that's the only way you're able to understand yourself. And as a coach, I think it's the best way to understand, like, okay, these players are unique, right? There's not one way to do things, because there's some guys that are out there who, they're able to bench press a truck off of them, to the guy who's better with his feet and he understands, just his whole body structure and things like that. And it's just 2 different types of games that they play, but it doesn't mean that one's better than the other. And it's just good to be able to hear you say kind of the same thing, and makes me feel more sure of myself when I'm telling all these young guys.
No, it really, it's going to vary. You need that toolbox, like you're saying, because it's going to vary play to play. These defenses now, they're getting their first and second down guys, but they bring in their third down pass rusher. So where you're going to get, those first and second down guys that are, are they readers? Are they jetters? Those third down pass rush guys, you're going to have to change techniques from guy to guy within a game. So that's when it comes down to your film study and understanding, what do guys do? What are their go-to moves? What are their counters? And being able to apply that within a drive. I think it really separates the difference between the college game and the NFL game, because you have to be able to pull in that and draw from that toolbox within a single drive.
So we've gone through, a little bit of high school, college, into your NFL timeline, and talked a little bit about those things. Talk a little bit about maintenancing of your body, and what injuries have you gone through injuries? I mean, obviously you have, but I mean, what would be maybe the biggest significant injury that you've experienced, and how did you recover it, both physically and then the mental side of it too?
Yeah. So, fortunately through college and really NFL, I haven't had anything too significant until 8 weeks ago, when I tore my ACL in the finale of the season. So really right now we're in the thick of it, and just going through rehab every single day. And so I'll come back to you on a full answer with that one. We're right in the middle of handling it mentally and physically, but you just, again, it's kind of the same thing as the offensive line, right? You have to take it day by day. Like, you're going to have some real tough days, and but at the end of it, when you just take it one little victory at a time, you're going to look up and have a really solid day.
I remember, I'm sorry, Travis, but I remember, like, at Nevada, didn't you have a bunch of like rolled ankles? Weren't there times you had like both your feet like totally tested up? Like,
that was my redshirt year.
Yeah,
so
I remember
first
seeing
college start.
Yeah.
In like the late drive, we were up like 20 points or something, and we decided to take like some play action deep shot, and the center came and cleaned a dude up right into my ankle and sprained it real bad. So I was spatted, taped, braced up, and then a couple games later, I get one into my other ankle. So I was walking around campus with tape, like just peg legs, just can't move, and everything. Like, I wouldn't practice all week. I'd get to the games, be like tape, sock, brace, cleat, spat, just had these giant moon boots on to be able to play. And so that was gnarly, but they're sprained ankles. I mean, people deal with those just all the time. But since then, I was clean, and then finally got this freaking knee, and it's bound to happen. It's the nature of the game, but it's offensive line. Things get nasty.
So 2 weeks ago, we tried to have you on the show, and obviously for good reason. We had to reschedule and everything, and the good reason was, your wife was had to go to the hospital, kidney stones and everything. But the true question here is in the household, who's tougher? Is it your wife? Is it you?
Yeah, I think it's kind of a tricky question. She played volleyball at Nevada, right? And she's an all-conference volleyball player, multiple years. She set multiple records, has a bunch of stuff in the top 10. So, like, for sure, better athlete. But the question, what was with the toughness? I never really saw it. Obviously, I've seen her go through labor and childbirth twice, and that's something I don't know. But with her going through this kidney stone, she said she'll have 100 more children before doing another kidney stone. Ooh. And so it was just like, holy cow, like, this is this is real right here. And for us, I was 6 weeks, post surgery, and we're going in taking care of. We were a hot mess in this house for a little bit, but she's a freaking trooper, that's for sure.
Holy cow, saying kids are nothing compared to kidney stones, huh? And then
Yeah.
we were supposed to do this 2 weeks ago, and it was the day of, and you're like, yeah, we're good, we're all set. And then you kind of went quiet on us for a couple hours. I'm like, all right, I guess he's not coming on the show. And you're like, Coach, no go. I got some stuff going on. Can we push it back? I'm like, yeah, no doubt.
It was rough. I went to facility that morning for my normal rehab, and she's kind of texted me like, oh, I'm not feeling well. Like, I'm going to give, Ford the phone and let him like watch a show. I'm going to try to lay down, relax. And then I just get a phone call and just screaming in tears. I'm like, oh, time to get home. And that was something. Seeing her in a fetal position on the ground when I got home, that was scary there for a hot bit.
Wow.
So were they confused on who the patient was, since you were dealing with the ACL and she's dealing with the kidney stone?
That was my first day off crutches, and it's like I'm limping around the house. Like, called the ambulance, the paramedics. Like, are you okay? Like, yeah, I'm great. Like, don't worry about me. Take care of her. Like, I'll figure myself out.
Well,
so it was.
What a good husband. Afterwards, you take her to Hawaii for a couple of weeks, right? Nice, good.
Yeah,
just so how that worked out, right? Good vacation. Right. You guys needed a break.
There's a little work meetings there with the NFLPA, part of the union, and but dang, we're just glad we were still able to go, and because that's especially we had some other off-season plans, and then you tear your ACL, that kind of ruins it all. So fortunately, the union provided some physical therapists out there, so I could still do rehab and everything. And it was a good mental break for her too, because off season just isn't for the player. That's for the wives, that's for the kids. That dad's finally home, and now she's on full time, and able to give her that break. That was awesome.
Good. Hey, I wanted to hit on just talking about outside of ball, and something that the NFL's done the last couple of years is the whole My Cause, My Cleats opportunity for guys to bring awareness of certain groups and maybe causes that are special to them. And I think you've been actively involved in that. Give us a little lowdown on what your cause was with your My Cause, My Cleats the last couple of years.
Yeah, so I've done a couple. I guess I've done the last 3 years now. And, 2 years ago and 3 years ago, they were both for cystic fibrosis. And a kid that I believe you were there at the time. He was our little Wolfpack, kind of honorary member, Sean, and something that he'd been battling. He's like 8 years old at the time. And so I kind of wanted to do something special for him, and was able to, get those cleats done and gift them to him for Christmas that year. And the following year, I was in Cleveland, and one of our little friends at church also had cystic fibrosis, and so wanted to do that for him, and did the same thing where I sent it off to him for Christmas. And this last year, I did an alternate route where when we first signed to Carolina, we were living in a hotel here just because the housing market was insane, and we needed to get out of the hotel room, so we took our son and our dog just to a local park. And when we were there, we saw this gentleman. He was throwing, shot put and discus, and but he was in this, chair and all strapped down. He had one prosthetic leg, and the other one was, he was very, clearly disabled, and everything was all American Eagle and, clearly military, and just something that you could not, chalk up a conversation about. So, I just approached him, asked what he's training for, and kind of just gave me his rundown of just getting injured in a car accident, losing a leg, and being told he was never going to walk again, to just gaining weight, dealing with depression, and getting back on track with his family and his eating, and has now pushed that, motivation and depression into competing and trying to make it, and, his goal of going to the Paralympics there in Paris here in a couple of years. And, so that was Brian Conwell that I met, Sergeant Big Country. And so my cleats I did for him this year, and, really just wanted to represent all those wounded military out there, and for them just to be able to get back on track, because when they get back from service, it truly is, they're just cut free. And so to be able to represent him, have him out there on the cleats, and send him send him those cleats as well. And truly an honor and just an incredible opportunity I had to meet him just on a chance of a day.
That's awesome, man. I mean, you've had such a story. You've met so many people that you've had interactions with because you've been in so many different markets. How is getting used to being down south now? I mean, you were up in you're from Nevada. You end up going to Cleveland, then you're in LA. Now you're in Carolina. Like, you're getting a whole lot of different pockets.
Moving is not fun.
United States,
Yeah.
but like, man, different lifestyles, different parts of the country. Favorite spot? I mean, just everybody's a little different. What's your style? I know you're a real big city guy,
Yeah, LA was tremendous. Yeah, we loved LA. Organizationally, LA was great. We had a blast, obviously fantastic for that side of it. Really kind of saved my NFL career, giving me that chance in trading for me. But as much as Cleveland gets a bad rap, we loved it a lot. I feel like they've turned the city around a lot. We find ourselves a great spot to live out there, and made a lot of good church friends and good teammates and stuff, and that we still talk and are very close with today. But honestly, I think my favorite is here in Carolina, in Charlotte. The city is awesome. It's not a big city, downtown, they call it uptown here. Uptown Charlotte is pretty small and condensed, and we're south of the stadium, and it's out here. You see all the stars you want. It's quiet. It's green, beautiful trees everywhere. Humidity sucks, but it is. It's probably been my favorite.
I love it,
So
man.
we've got two former players of Coach Jaime, and Gerald has had the opportunity to share a lot of stories of his former coach, but we can't let you go before getting some good stories about Coach Jaime and your time with him. So here's your opportunity. Tell us probably about the hardest time, maybe, and then top it off with maybe the funniest thing you've seen him do, or funniest time with him. What you name it.
Yeah, I think honestly, we had such a good offensive line room when he was there. A lot of old guys. I think we had 3 seniors and 2 juniors was the starting offensive line, and so just a lot of guys that were the biggest knucklehead group you've ever seen. But I mean, truly just guys that got along with one another. And the weirdest one doesn't even come from Jaime. It's just coincidence that Jaime was there. But it was our center, Nathan Goltry, and our guard, Jeremy McCauley. They both were just absolute maniacs. And we're just on the bench, and they're like, "Coach, we got to pee. You got to pee bad." He's like, "All right, go." So both of them just like simultaneously just grab a water bottle, start spraying themselves, and they're just pissing themselves on the bench. Just like, what is going on right now? Like that's when I got up off the bench. Like, this is like disgusting. Like, what are we doing here? And I mean, just wild. And then our right tackle, Jacob Henry, he was kind of flustered by it too. He was a big flustered head case a lot. And he kind of said he was always a mood setter, bringing everyone down to earth. And in meetings one day, kind of got up there early, got onto the Google real quick and pulled up some of Jaime's old XFL photos, some of all his eye black, completely done up, painted faces, pulling those up, just having those on the screen when Jaime walked in. That was stuff we were able to do, just having a little bit of an older room, kind of be able to get away with that. But man, it really was a good room. And I mean, we kind of just dominated the run game all year, and that really made it special.
That was a fun group. I tell you what, that college group felt like a pro group. Honestly, in my experience, I've been fortunate enough to coach high school, college, and pro guys, and just thinking of those personalities in the room, like that takes me right back to 2016. I mean, that was an awesome group. That was a fun crew. There were some knuckleheads. I remember McCauley would like want to wrestle me pregame every game. We'd like latch on, and it was like bulls, like it was like rams butting heads. And I was like, dude, I'm going to pull something. And literally he would try to wrestle me pregame. Like I'd always give guys a hug pregame and say, "Hey, I wish you the best. Love you. Go do your thing." and he would like snatch me by the back of the neck. And so I was like, all right, this is on. And so we would have to get after it pregame a little bit. We had a great tradition. Just the union at Nevada is something special. If you're not in that conference, you don't really know, kind of known for Coach Chris Alt and the pistol and the hard run game that's been there for so many years. And I know that offenses transition, things happen, things change, and they went a little bit more air raid the last couple of years. But kind of talk to us about Nevada, the union, and what that means to you for people that don't know, that haven't been in that room before.
Yeah, I think it really is just that hard hat, lunch pail work ethic, and showing up, and you're going to do your job and you're going to go home. There's no other way about it. And there's just so many guys that have come out of that offensive line room that truly people just don't realize. You look at Harvey Dahl, voted one of the meanest NFL linemen multiple years. And, obviously Joel Batonio being, 4-time All-Pro, whatever it is, and just incredible career. And so many other just offensive linemen that are just truly dominant at their craft. And that's just what that union breeds. And to be a part of it is, you're not just because you go to Nevada and you're on the offensive line doesn't mean you're a part of the union. It's an earned title for sure. And ultimately it's a brotherhood that you keep for years. There's so many old linemen that come back, part of the alumni, and it means everything. And these guys just, going into air raid, and just because it's pass protection, you can still get after guys all the time. There's rib shots available, but you got to go earn that title.
No, that's something that, being a part of that room, the union, we tried to create a mentality, the 5-as-1 mentality. And it was something that, kind of a lot of different stops on the road, but we tried to create an identity with that group, and you guys really took that and ran with it. And, and with that being said, it's something special about the offensive line room. And I'm sure you still communicate with all those guys that you played with just in the past, and keeping up with all those guys. And that's something special about O-line play. And Gerald, I know you had that at Nebraska with just having those relationships. We've had some of your former teammates on the pod before. Corb's like, what in your opinion is like makes a good O-line, something that just makes it special, different than all other positions? Or what if you were looking for in a teammate, what's important to the group?
Yeah, I think it's just that trustworthiness, your ability and your accountability. Because we talk about it all the other time in the locker room, just like, okay, what position group has the hardest job? It's like DBs, like they're on an island. It's like, yeah, but it's the run play. Like they don't got to do anything. Quarterbacks, like, yeah, it's pretty hard. But if it's a run play, like they're handing the ball off and they're done. But offensive linemen are truly on every single play, and you might get the occasional naked if you're on the backside of it. Like you still got to be aware for some guy retracing. And, every run play, every pass play is truly you. And to be able to provide to your teammates that accountability and that you're going to do your job every single time, because unfortunately with offensive line, you can have 64 good plays, but that's 65th. If it's a sack, that's all you're going to be known for. And it's that's just the brutal honesty of the game that we play. But a true offensive lineman, they love it. And when you can get 5 guys on the same page, you don't even have to communicate. You guys are thinking as one and moving as one, and to be able to impose your will as a group, to be able to just pass off twists, to be able to move guys to the second level. It makes everything we do worth it. No one wants to sit back and throw the ball 65 times a game. Like we're seeing some of these NFL teams do. So when you can still run the ball against these guys and in such a pass-heavy league, it's a great feeling. And with that being said, there's nothing better than being an offensive lineman.
Look at that. That was
Love
perfect.
it, man.
Golly, you're right. I mean, he's got it. He's got it all. He's got it all. I mean, that was probably one of the best answers that we've heard for that question. I feel like we always, ask our the guests that have been able to play offensive line, kind of what's that piece that really brings you together, and that's it. That's it completely. I mean, the trustworthiness that you got to have. You got to have that on the line for things just to work out well, for things to be able to be said without being said. There's just so much of that people don't understand at all these other positions. People don't understand in the crowd. It's good to hear. And obviously, I got to bring it back to Nebraska. Okay. I got to. I'm sorry with the red. I didn't know. Maybe next time I'll wear a black shirt, something else, just to kind of pull, just to pull it away from your history with this color. But Matt Rule, he was your coach down this last year for a little bit of the time being. Now he's at Nebraska. Give me some high hopes. Is he going to be the guy? Is he what I'm looking for in a coach, or are we going to be saying the same thing in 3 years that we've been doing at Nebraska for the last 10 years? Okay, maybe this guy's going to be our next coach. How is he as a facilitator, just as a all around person?
Yeah, all around person was great. Had some great dinners with him. Really kind of took care of us during training camp. And, tough for me to give you the full extent since I was there, at one off season and 6 weeks of a regular season with him. But in that 6 weeks, he really getting his message across, and really was able to get some guys to, from my side, I didn't have those 2 years that some of those other guys had with him at the time. But for me, it was just like, this is his message, and he was able to keep guys, and to be able to do that at a college level, I think that's exactly what a program needs, because especially with just the transfer thing going on, guys, if they don't feel like they're bought in, they're just going to leave. And so I think Nebraska is getting someone that they can count on to be able to hold recruits there and be able to not let these guys get out just because they have that feeling, and whatever this transfer in college has become, that I know the strength coach that went over there, and Corey Campbell, he's going to get those guys right. So that's where it starts, is in the weight room, and he brought himself a good strength coach. So I know that one, and it's going to transition and onto the football field.
Well, thank you. That's enough assurance. I'll take what I can get. Okay, that's great. Yeah, no. It's going to be a fun year coming in. You said that you're 8 weeks after your surgery, right? How much longer of a rehab do you guys have for your surgery and all the stuff that you went through?
Yeah, it'll be a long while. We're saying the goal is hopefully week 1, and never want to rush back because this game's too brutal, but hopefully that's when we make it back. We're ready, and just going to be a long process, and the game of football. As much as it gives, it takes away too.
Well, that's one of the things, and just in the game, it doesn't give you anything you can't handle. And, Corbs, you're a guy that you came in, as a highly touted 5-star recruit. You had how many offers, and you had so many choices of schools to go to. Right? You did the whole hat game at your announcement, right? And with that being said, I'm going to take my talents to the hometown Nevada, and look, I mean, you're a grinder. You're a guy that just gets in there, and it's just about work. And I think that's what's so cool to watch your journey. It's not been an easy one, and you've had to work for everything you've ever earned. I mean, walk on, earn a starting spot, become team captain, go to the Senior Bowl, had to work your way through the combine, go pro days. I mean, I remember your pro day, it was snowing. You had to do stuff, and it's not been an easy road. You've had to earn every single opportunity, have now been on 3 different NFL teams. You just got to roll with the punches, and no one's handed anything they can't handle. We don't know why sometimes, and you just have to trust in the process, have faith with the things that are important to you. Do you have any advice for high school kids, college guys that aspire to be in your position? Like, just give 30 seconds, spot, a minute, whatever, just what's been important to you and what advice would you give to yourself 10 years ago?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me, and really that I would tell every young kid, is to build your foundation. Find 2-3 things, whatever that is to you, and make that yours. That's something you're going to always have to fall back on when things go hard. When things go hard for me, I know I have my family. I know I have my faith, and football is eventually going to leave. So you can never really count on football as being there. So when I have my family and I have my faith and I'm able to trust in the Lord, things are always going to work out. And so right now, going through this, a lot of the burden with my ACL, a lot of the burden is on my family. My wife, Madison, my 2.5-year-old toddler, Ford, who wants to run around the house and be a maniac. Dad hasn't been able to play with him for a little bit. And it's when things go hard, you count on those things, and that's what's going to pull you through. And whatever your foundation is, find it, establish it, never fray from it, and you're going to be fine in whatever aspect.
I love it, man. I love it. If you had one quality, and we'll kind of wrap it up here, one quality that you would want in a coach, just because this is not only just, this podcast is for athletes, for parents, for coaches. This is just football, kind of looking at it from the huddle out, a way that a coach could communicate, or give me one of any coach you've ever had, high school, college, pro guy. What's an attribute that you appreciate as a position player, that either as a position coach, coordinator, a head coach, is there something that just sticks out that a coach could really do to affect you in a positive light as a player?
Yeah, I think for me, with having 7 offensive line coaches and seeing various ways to go about it, I think the biggest thing for me is kind of coaches' adaptability within player to player. Knowing that some guys don't handle being screamed at, some guys need to be screamed at, and just understanding guys' different body mechanics. And when they're able to kind of dictate and move things from person to person and coach individually, rather than just giving these blanket statements that I've been a part of, that's truly what I look for and what I respect in a coach, because a coach that is able to step back and see differences in guys means they understand the game at a deeper level, and really just the passion of the game, because it does take more time, but when they do it, you're able to go a lot further.
That's awesome. And having that belief, somebody that believes in you and makes it individual for you, because it's a collective group, but you got 5 individuals that got to be able to function together. Travis, Gerald, you got anything else for Auston before we let him go and let him get back to March Madness?
Just appreciate you having on, taking the time out, share a little bit about your story, and spread some encouragement to those guys that are chasing the dream out there, man. Good luck in your rehab.
Pleasure being on with y'all. It's been fantastic just to chat. And I think that's the beauty of offensive line in itself too, because it doesn't matter where you go, there's plenty of offensive linemen, and only offensive linemen will ever understand what we go through.
Completely. Yeah, I'll say as the last remarks, I hope that your bracket's doing well. Mine's not. I pray for your recovery day by day. I know it's a journey. I've gone through, my own setbacks and that kind of stuff. So I pray for you, your family. Thank God for Madison, that she's able to keep going and keep you the humble man that you are. Just again, thank you for coming on. This is a whole lot of fun having somebody like you, a stand-up guy that we respect and that understands. Yeah, being an offensive lineman is something that you got to do before you're able to sit back and say, "Oh, I know this and I know that."
Absolutely. Thank you guys. Really, really appreciate it.
Corbs, I appreciate you, being easy on the stories. Well, I'm sure Travis will search for some old school pictures of me back in the day. But there was maybe a little less gray on the beard when I was coaching you 8-9 years ago, whatever it was, my man. But dude, it's so great to see you doing awesome things, not only on the field, but off. You're a true idol to a lot of young players coming up, man. And it is so great to see you doing well, and you will be back on the field before we know it. I'm excited to see you out there putting punishment on people and then smiling, picking them back up, and then doing it again, because That's the way you play the game, man. You're going to work hard knocking them down, pick them up, laugh at them, pat them on the butt, and say, I'll be right back, because that's the way the game needs to be played, man. So, Corbs, so excited to have you on. Thanks for your time. And with that being said, guys, appreciate you. We'll see you next time.
See you, brother.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Hey, appreciate you listening, joining in, and we look forward to some comments on our 5 is 1 podcast. And with that being said, it was awesome to have Big Corbs, Auston Corbett, offensive guard with the Carolina Panthers, on tonight. Great to hear stories about his time in high school, college, and pro game. And there's a lot going on for all of you. There's actually our first Texas 5 is 1 camp clinic that's coming up April 1st. I've got a couple days off with a longer week throughout the season in the XFL, that we're going to hold our first Texas camp at Lamar High School here in Arlington. And we're going to go April 1st, 1 o'clock to 3 p.m. We'll get it going, 2 hours on the field. We'll do some classroom time. We'll do some chalk talk, do a little film study. And for the guys, for the parents, we'll do a little recruiting session. We'll talk a little ball, and coaches are more than welcome to come out too. This is for youth, middle school, high school, college guys back on spring break. Come out. It'd be great to work with you. So we have a little break with the XFL season. So we also want to thank our sponsors, Zoa Energy Drinks, who's been great. Don't worry, boys. The cases are coming to Colorado, so they'll be shipped out to you soon, Gerald and Travis. And then we'd also like to thank Vaqueros Barbecue and Hop and Sting Brewery in Grapevine. So that's what's going on down here in Texas. Gerald, what's shaking in Colorado?
Yeah, he's talking about Colorado. First of all, I'd love to thank Fix Sports for allowing us to be in your facilities. Fix Sports, they're not only, not only able to give you a space to work out in, to be able to learn how to do the different kind of workouts, but they got such a good staff that they're going to be able to teach you to be the best you that you can possibly be. So thank you for Fix Sports. All about Colorado. One of the biggest points here is that we're going to be trying to reach ourselves out to the different areas in Colorado Springs, Monument, Denver. So if you're a head coach or an O-line coach and you want to be able to see us out there, please give us a shout. We want to make it so that we're able to offer you the same thing that we offer all the guys that come to Fix Sports. You can be able to see what we do, and we'll just be able to roll with that. So, Travis, you got anything for the Cali vibes that Kiyoshi's running?
Absolutely. Kiyoshi's doing a great job out in Cali. It's going to be out at Chaminade High School this weekend, actually, Saturday, from 10 to 12. So if you're in that area, want to get some work in, curious about the O-line life, seeing what it's like about, get out there and hit up our own coach, Kiyoshi Harris out there. Week after that's going to be on spring break, so we're going to take a break there. And then rolling into April, we've got Chaparral High School on the 1st, Colony High School on the 8th, Corona Centennial on the 15th, Village Christian High School on the 22nd, and Indian Springs on the 29th. So big presence in SoCal. If you are an O-lineman, if you're a coach, and you're wanting to get out there, see what we're about, any of that stuff. If you're a young guy, maybe a college guy that is not ready to hang up the cleats, and you still want to be around the game and everything, hit us up. We're looking for some help with our Coach Harris out there, so we want to make sure it's a fit, but we're definitely interviewing some guys out there to help out with Coach Harris. So big things coming to SoCal, big things coming to Colorado, big things in Texas. So I love it. So I'll kick it back to you, Hein.
This thing's growing, guys, and I know it's spring ball time right now. I know there's a lot going on. College spring practices are cranking up, starting up. For all you high school guys, if you want to get recruited, if you want to get noticed, if you want to see what the game is played and how it's played at the next level, get yourselves out to some spring practices. Go watch ball. You're only going to learn from it. You're going to meet contacts. It's going to help grow your network. So for you parents, for you kids, for you coaches that are trying to get better, go out to spring practices, go see people, whether you're going to go down to Nebraska, go to Lincoln and see what Coach Rule's got going on. you might be able to drop a name that might help you get in the door and get the all access pass to see what's going on.
Drop Nick Gates.
Right. There you go. Big stuff going on with 5is1 member Nick Gates. Congrats. Huge contract signing with the Commanders here this week. So props and love to your boy, Nick Gates. That's awesome.
But yeah, no, guys, like Jaime says, get out there. Understand that the best thing that you can do is always absorb the game. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you're finding yourself to be at that school. It's all about being able to understand the game, understand coaches, get your name out there. So make your way out to these spring practices if you can find one that's open. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Reach out to us. We've got a great network. Travis has got a ton of contacts. Gerald knows a ton of guys. I've done this for 25 years. So if we can help you help develop in the game, that's what this is all about. And it's not just about training. It's about recruiting. It's about connections. So guys, with that being said, we appreciate you and wish you all the best, and we'll see you next time.
See you guys.